Today for language, we are doing 2 pages. We're doing page 63 and 64, but I want to begin with reviewing for the quiz that's going to be tomorrow. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is review all the comma rules, because there will be a whole section where you have to insert commas according to the rules. Now, remember on the test the other day when I had to give you one answer, because we hadn't even learned that rule yet, and it had to do with the city and the state, which we did learn yesterday, but we had learned it before the test. Well, guess what? On the quiz tomorrow, they are going to give you this other rule about separating the parts of the date. I will tell you where to put the commas. So, you will not have to figure it out yourself. I will tell you where to put the commas. I think they need to figure out, this is a new book, and they need to figure out some of these glitches. Okay, I need you to go to your seat. I'm pretty sure you can see the poster from how I'm holding it up, okay? So we're just doing the poster first. All right, so we use a comma and a conjunction to direct a run-on sentence. That rule won't be on the quiz tomorrow, okay? But this one will be, use a comma after yes or no at the beginning of a sentence. Although I told you on that one Bible Truths when they use the word no one, that no one is not when you use a comma, and I had somebody stick a comma in there anyway, talking about a point. I specifically told you the word no one is actually 2 words, no and one. It does not need a comma. Alright, use a comma before and after the name of a person you are speaking to in a sentence. And we call that direct address. Use a comma to separate a city and a state. And, let's finish it out, after the state too, if it's not at the end of the sentence. And that's only when you have a city and a state in a sentence, not if you just have the city and the state by itself. And use a comma to separate words or groups of words in a series. And then we'll be learning this one. I don't even think it's a day after the quiz. I think it's like 2 days after the quiz, which they have it on the quiz anyway. But I will tell you where to put those commas. All right. You also will have a small section. Some of you are not paying attention, where you're going to have to fix capitalization. You're going to rewrite the whole entire sentence. They give you a sentence and it's completely wrong, and you just have to rewrite the words, putting in the correct capitalization and punctuation as you go. So, capitalize the first word of every sentence. And there are several of you that still do not do that. I tell you to write a sentence and you should begin it with anything. You do not begin it with a capital letter. All sentences begin with a capital letter. Please put all your pencils down and get your attention up here. Alright, capitalize names, titles of respect, initials, and the word I. Most of that is going to be on your quiz tomorrow. So make sure you're paying attention. Names, titles of respect, initials, and the word I. Capitalize the days of the week and the months of the year, but not the seasons. Capitalize holidays and special days. Capitalize proper nouns, which is a particular person, place, or thing. And names falls under that category too, doesn't it? Capitalize names referring to God and the Bible. Capitalize the first word, the last word, and every important word in titles of books, stories, poems, and songs. Alright, and the last one I want to look at is the use of a period. You already know that you use a period at the end of most sentences. We learned specifically what 2 types. Just say them.
Declarative and imperative.
Declarative and imperative. But we also learned that you use a period after initials of names and after abbreviated titles of respect and after most abbreviations, which they were talking about days of the week, once a year, we learned abbreviations for those. Right, so most abbreviations do have a period. So you need to make sure you know that. So, the first thing you need to do is look at these sentences right here, and we're going to put in the missing commas. So everyone stand. All right, and let's read the whole entire sentence It says,
I think, Ethan, you said your sister's name is Sophia.
alright? So we're gonna start with Olivia. Olivia, just tell me one. One comma.
Before Ethan.
Put a comma before Ethan. Very good. So you need to put a comma before Ethan. Olivia Yanger, give me another one. I think, Ethan, you said your sister's name is Sophia. Abby, can you tell me?
Put a comma after Ethan.
Yeah, she put a comma after Ethan. Olivia and Abby, tell me why you put a comma before and after Ethan.
Because it's direct address.
Yes, because you're talking to Ethan, direct address. So you put a comma, since his name is not at the beginning. If his name was here, if you said Ethan, I think you said your sister's name is Sophia, then you would just put a comma after Ethan. If you said his name last, I think you said your sister's name is Sophia, Ethan, then you would put it before Ethan. But since you said it right here in the middle of the sentence, you need a comma before and after Ethan. Do you need a comma in front of Sophia? No, you're not talking to Sophia, you're talking to somebody named Ethan. And you're saying, I think you said your sister's name is Sophia, right? I think, Ethan, you said your sister's name is Sophia. All right, let's go on to the next one. Yes, Sophia is my little sister. Then,
comma after yes.
yes, and that is the rule, everybody? Yes or no at the beginning of the sentence. Oh my gracious, you see what I did? I forgot I put the answer in by accident. Do you have any siblings, Abby?
Put a comma before Abby.
Yes, because?
Because it's direct address.
Yes, you are talking to somebody named Abby now. All right? No, but I do have 6 cousins.
After no.
And the rule is, everybody?
Yes or no at the beginning of a sentence.
My grandma and grandpa and all my cousins are coming for my dad's birthday party. My grandma, grandpa, and all my cousins are coming for my dad's birthday party.
After grandma.
After grandma. Do you remember the rule?
Because I put it for the
Yes, words in a series. Page, next one.
Put a comma after grandpa.
Put a comma after grandpa. Very good. Again, what's the rule? Words in a series. Adam, my grandma, grandpa, and all my cousins are coming for my dad's birthday party.
Stop.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. I wanted him to say stop. You stop because you see the word and. It could also be the word or if you're giving choices, but this is not choices. This is making a list of people that are coming to the birthday party. We made, everybody read it.
We made cupcakes, cookies, and other yummy treats. After cupcakes.
After cupcakes. Why?
Because it's words in the series.
Words in a series.
After cookies.
After cookies. Why?
Because yeah.
Words in a series. Words in a series. Maya?
Stop.
Very good. You stop because you see that word and. All right. And please do not forget when you're doing your quiz tomorrow to insert the commas. Use proofreader marks means put that little insert. Now, when you do the other part of your quiz, you will not use insert marks. Do you know why? Who knows why? Jonathan?
Because you're making the whole entire sentence and correcting them.
Yes, you are correcting the whole entire sentence, so you're not showing which mistakes are being fixed. You are rewriting the sentence yourself, and that's what we're going to do over here. I just realized there is a huge glare right on that sentence, and I can't really do anything about it. All right, you just have to read it for her so she can see it. All right, so eyes up here. This is sort of what it will look like on your test. It will say Rev Joseph L. Barnes will preach at Faith Baptist Church on Sunday. All right, so is that correct?
No.
You got it right, so you can sit down. If I get through everybody, then I'll come back and let people do some more. So what is the first thing that I would need to write? Tell me how to fix it. What do I need to do?
We need capitalize reverend.
All right, so you would rewrite Reverend and you would capitalize it. All right, that is the abbreviated title of respect for Reverend, R-E-V. What if it said M-R? What is that?
Mr.
What if it said D-R?
Doctor.
What if it said M-R-S?
Mrs.
All right, what if it said M-I-S-S?
Miss.
Yes, Miss needs to be capitalized, but you don't need a period. Very good. All right, so Jonathan, you're supposed to be next, I think, aren't you?
Yes.
Well, can you please get up and stop doing that? All right, what do I need to do next?
Period after rest.
Very good. You need a period after Reverend because it's an abbreviated title of respect, just like Doctor would be, Mr. would be, Mrs. would be, but not Miss. What needs to be fixed next?
Capitalize Joseph.
Yes, you need to capitalize Joseph, so write Joseph and capitalize it. All right, what's next? Yeah,
Capitalize L
why?
because it's initial.
Very good. Capitalize L because it's initial. Eric, yes. Reverend Joseph L. Barnes will preach at Faith Baptist Church on Sunday. We've got Reverend with a period. We've got
Barnes.
Joseph. We got L.
Barnes.
What do I need to do to Barnes?
Capitalize it.
Yes. But you did skip something. I hope you don't skip it on the quiz tomorrow. Brennan, can you tell me what he skipped? Tess, can you tell me what he skipped?
He skipped to put a period after L.
Yes.
It's an initial.
This is an initial, you need a period. You capitalize it and you put a period because it's an initial, right? Yeah, she may sit down because you told me about Barnes, but do you understand that initials need a period? Besides just capitalizing, you need to put a period? Do you understand? All right, what else?
Capitalize Baptist.
Okay, you're still skipping. You're still skipping. Do we need to do anything to will? No, just copy it. Do we need to do anything to preach? No, just copy it. Do we need to do anything to act?
No.
No, just copy it. Do you see what I'm saying you skipped?
Capitalize faith.
Yes, we need to capitalize faith. Why do we need to capitalize faith?
Because the beginning of like a place.
Yeah, a particular place is a proper noun. It is the name of a church. Faith, now what?
You need to.
Actually, I still need to get her. What's next? Reverend Joseph L. Barnes will preach at Faith Baptist Church on Sunday.
Capitalize the B in
Say again?
Capitalize the B in
Baptist? Okay, Baptist needs to be capitalized because again, it's still part of the name of the,
Bible.
no, church. The church's name is Faith Baptist Church. That is a particular place, so you capitalize all of it. Faith Baptist. Who wants to do the next one?
Sunday.
Okay, but you still didn't finish. I agree that Sunday needs to be capitalized.
Capitalize church.
Church. You still have to capitalize church because it is naming the particular church. Faith Baptist Church. They all need to be capitalized, right? Do we need to capitalize on?
No.
No, so just write on, but he already said you do need to capitalize Sunday. Are we done? No, we need to put a period because it is a declarative sentence. So, Eric, did you pay attention? You see how that sentence had 3 periods? One for abbreviated reverend, one for initial, and one for a declarative sentence. All right, let's look at the next one. Grandma lives in Tacoma, Washington. Who wants to do the first one? The first word that needs to be capitalized. Paige.
Capitalize grandma.
Capitalize grandma because it's the beginning of a sentence. And also, if you don't say my grandma, her grandma, his grandma, your grandma, then you still would capitalize grandma, if that's what you're calling her. Right? If you're calling her grandma as a name, instead of just referring to her as somebody else's grandma, then you would capitalize grandma. Alright? Do I need to capitalize lives?
No.
No, so just write live. Do I need to capitalize in?
No.
No, so just write in. What's next? Grace? Tacoma. Why do I need to capitalize Tacoma? Yes, it is a particular place. Abby? Capitalize Washington. Why? Yeah, it's a city and a state. Tacoma is a city and Washington is a state. So, Brennan, what I need to do?
Put a period at the end of the sentence.
Okay, I agree, there needs to be a period at the end of the sentence, but if that's all you did, then you would get some points taken off because there's something else. And if you're laying down, you're not going to hear this. Wake up. This is time to pay attention. Sit up and pay attention. What got missed? What would he lose a point for if he skipped this?
He needs to put a comma in between Tacoma and Washington.
Yes, we just learned this rule and it will be on your quiz tomorrow. A city and a state need to be separated by a comma, and if the state's at the end of the sentence, you don't need a comma after the state, but if the state's somewhere else in the sentence, you need a comma after the state too, right? That's what we learned yesterday. So make sure when you see a city, and by the way, if you don't know if it's a city and a state, what should you do? Yes, raise your hand and say, Mr. McLaughlin, I don't know what this says. What if you couldn't read this, Tacoma, Washington? Raise your hand and ask me and say, well, I don't know, is that a city and a state? And I would say, yes, that's a city and a state. And then you know, yes, I put a comma. Whereas this, is this a city and a state? No. No, so it does not need a comma. That's the name of a church. So you don't put a comma at Faith Baptist Church. It's not a city and a state. And some of you are daydreaming and falling asleep on me. All right, let's begin. The next thing I want to show you is a T-chart. This is what we're going to do today. This is our paper. We are doing a T-chart. A T-chart helps you organize your ideas before you write a paragraph. You need to get very familiar with this because when we do our animal notebook, we are going to be using T-charts to help you organize your ideas to write paragraphs about animals. We're going to write a paragraph, or a T-chart, not a paragraph. We're going to do a paragraph later as part of a penmanship assignment. So I'm going to save this paper, this language paper, for future when we write a paragraph about a prairie dog for a penmanship assignment as part of an exercise to get you ready for writing these paragraphs for your animal notebook. So I really need you to wake up and pay attention, those of you who look like you're about to fall asleep on me. All right, I'm going to read to you a passage about prairie dogs, and you need to be listening because the information that I'm going to read to you is where we're going to get the ideas for the T-chart. I do not need you to do the T-chart on your own. I need you to listen, and then we will do the T-chart together. I'm going to move the camera back over here because there's such a glare on the board on that side. And when I do start writing what we're going to write for the T-chart, I don't want that glare. All right, listen carefully to this paragraph. If you live in the western part of the United States, you may have seen large fields covered in small mounds of earth. What you have seen is probably a prairie dog town. Prairie dogs are small rodents that have tan fur and black tails. When they stand up, the adults are about 12 inches tall. Prairie dogs have long claws for digging tunnels and underground rooms. They live in these tunnels and have room for sleeping, storing food, and even caring for their babies. Prairie dogs live together in large families. The families live near each other in what is called a prairie dog town. Some towns are home to thousands of prairie dogs. Prairie dogs take turns standing guard watching for hawks, coyotes, and rattlesnakes. If they see danger, excuse me, if they see danger, they make loud noises that sound like barking. The early pioneers heard the barks and named these little animals prairie dogs. All right, so I just read a passage to you on prairie dogs. So what do you think the topic is?
Prairie
for your
dogs.
tea chart? Yes, it is prairie dogs. So where do you see the word topic on your paper? You're gonna write prairie dogs, and I will write it on the board. So please make sure you spell it correctly. Now, we're not gonna call this our title, so we're not gonna capitalize both words. We're just gonna capitalize prairie. If it was the title, you would capitalize prairie and dogs, right? All right, now, when we do get to writing these paragraphs about animals for Animal Notebook, we're gonna cover 3 different things. So, where they have the words idea, I'm gonna give you 3 different things that we're gonna focus on. So the first thing we're gonna focus on for the animal is its appearance. Who knows what appearance means? What is appearance? Abby?
How you look?
Yeah, how you look, what it looks like. So you're gonna be describing what the animal looks like. So that's one idea, so put that over by idea. I'm just gonna give you the ideas first. The second one is habitat. So by the second idea, I want you to write the word habitat. Who knows what a habitat is? Tess?
So kind of where they live.
Yes, where they live. You're describing where they live. And the third idea you're going to do is behavior. And you all know what behavior is, right? It's how you act. So you're going to describe some of the things that they do. Something that's particular to that creature, that animal. All right, now if you go back up to appearance, you see a number 1 and a number 2 over here. So we're going to say 2 things about the prairie dog's appearance. Can you guys remember something that I said? Okay,
So tan,
they're what? Tan what? What do you call it? Tan fur, and there was another color for some part of their body. So tan fur, and put a comma, because there was another color on them. Yes, black tails, very good. We're not making these be sentences, guys, because you are just collecting information to write a paragraph. Does that make sense? We're just collecting information to turn it into a paragraph. Now, when you rewrote it, you would need to write it as a sentence, right? Right? Can somebody else tell me something else they learned about their appearance? Yes,
When the adults stand up, they're like 12 inches.
very good. So 12, and just write it as a number, and you can abbreviate inches, 12 inches tall, and put a comma, because there was one more way they described something on their body. They described something on their body. Trying to give you a hint. Olivia?
they have sharp claws.
Yes. Or they call them long claws. I think they just called them long. Did they say they were sharp too? Trying to find it, I can't. No, they just call them long. Long claws. Alright, so those are the things. We ended up writing 4 things, but we only used 2 lines. So tan fur, black tails, 12 inches tall, long claws. And if you can't see, you need to just stand up and move over until you can see and sheep right along. These are all really short. Alright, we're going to move on to habitat. First thing under habitat. And again, we have 2 things. Adam, can you tell me something about their habitat?
Underground.
Alright, we are going to do that, but I wanted you to tell me what part of the country you've seen it. What did they say about what part of the country? Maya?
The prairie.
You're being too vague. Where is the prairie? Somebody who has answered.
West.
Western what? What country? Western?
Savannah. Africa.
No, you guys were not listening at all. Oh my gracious.
America.
What's the name of our country? Guys, I actually said the name of our country when I read it. If you live in the western part of the United States.
Oh.
Those are the first words out of my mouth. So western United States, let's put them there first. Western United States. So in other words, instead of listing all the different states where you could find prairie dogs, they just say western United States. So it's on the west coast area, and it is in the prairies, you're right. And when I was in, South Dakota, we actually saw a prairie dog town in the Badlands. When we went to the Badlands, which is a big prairie area, we saw a prairie dog town. Yes.
But they also go underground.
Yes, we are gonna say that. There's two things we're gonna say about the underground. So they have underground homes, but what do they dig to get to these different rooms that they make? They dig what?
Holes.
They're not holes, they're called, there's another name, Abby?
Tunnels.
Tunnels. Alright, so they live tunnels. Whoops. Tunnels and underground. So tunnels, comma, and underground, let's see, rooms, right? Because remember they said they had a room for storing food, they had a room for taking care of their babies, and they have a room for sleeping. So they, underground, once they did these tunnels underground, then they go out and make different rooms for different things. Alright, and that is all about their habitat. Alright, now let's move on to behavior. Then we're gonna talk about two different things about their behavior. Ben,
Bark loudly when predators outside.
alright, so they give warning barks. We're just gonna say give warning barks, that way we don't have to write everything. If you were going to turn this into a paragraph, you could explain about the warning barks, right? So they give warning barks. Somebody else? Yes.
Their behavior is kind of safety, like they're cautious.
Alright, are you trying to say they stand guard?
Yeah.
Yes, they take turns, remember they said they take turns standing guard. So let's put a comma here and let's say stand guard. So good, so they give warning barks and remember they take turns being on guard duty. So you stand guard. That is another behavior. Jonathan, what do you want to add?
They're fast.
I'm sure they are fast, but I don't think that was, how they live. There was something peculiar about their behavior, about how they live. What did they say?
They dig.
No, you're getting into the habitat. If you're talking about the digging, that's the habitat. That's the burrow. They dig burrows. But they did tell us about how they live. This has to do with more behavior. Who's going to tell me how they live? Do I need to read it again? I started to read it to you twice to begin with. Listen up, because there's still two more things we need to say about their behavior. If you live in the western part of the United States, you may have seen large fields covered in small mounds of earth. What you have seen is probably a prairie dog town. Prairie dogs are small rodents. They have tan fur and black tails. When they stand up, the adults are about 12 inches tall. Prairie dogs have long claws for digging tunnels and underground rooms. They live in these tunnels and have rooms for sleeping, storing food, and even caring for their babies. Prairie dogs live together in large families. The families live near each other in what is called a prairie dog town. Some towns are home to thousands of prairie dogs. Prairie dogs take turns standing guard, watching for hawks, coyotes, and rattlesnakes. If they see danger, they make loud noises that sound like barking. The early pioneers heard the barks and named these little animals prairie dogs. Alright, so,
Take care of their babies.
okay. That is true that they take care of the babies, but not what I was going for. I want to know how they live. Yes.
They live with their families.
Yeah, they live in huge families. They actually call them colonies. And they did not say that in the reading, and I was like, okay, why do they expect you to understand they live in colonies when they didn't even write that? And another thing they didn't say is what they eat. Anyway, live in, you can say families, since that's your spelling word, but I'm gonna write live in colonies. Because they actually are called colonies. But you can put live in families. So huge, there could be thousands of prairie dogs in one little prairie dog town. Alright, and again, does anyone know what they eat? Anyone wanna take a guess at what they eat? Yes. This does not say they eat bugs. But I think we should look it up.
I think I know.
Yes.
Dirt. Because they're like
No,
kind of
they
live
don't
in
eat
dirt.
dirt. They dig through the dirt. They're not earthworms.
I
They
think
don't eat
I think
dirt.
they.
What do you think? Grass. Grass and what else is from a plant? No, no. Honey does not come from a plant. No. Grass and, no,
Leaves.
no. Seeds.
Oh.
Grass is this, they grass and seeds, and they actually do eat roots. Alright, so they eat grass, seeds, and roots. And I'm not putting the word "and," I'm just putting grass, seeds, roots, because we're just writing it as simply as we can. We eat grass, seeds, roots. Right, so whenever we do start writing these reports, you guys will look up information on appearance, habitat, and behavior of certain animals. This will be in the early spring that we'll start doing this, okay? I can't remember exactly what month, but we will be doing this. Maybe it starts in February, I can't remember, because this is new. They just started changing this last year, but this is the big report for the class, but this is the way you'll set it up before you write your paragraph. And we are going to turn this into a paragraph eventually. Go ahead and turn the page over, because we do need to do the other side. Okay, on the other side, this is like what was on your test where you have to pick which sentence is correct. So let's read the sentence. You don't have to read it once because it's the same sentence. Oak, maple, cherry, and ash trees lose their leaves in the winter. Which one is correct, A or B?
B.
Yes, B, because it has the commas. All right, read the next one. Johnson, South Carolina is known for its peaches. A, because they have a comma to separate the city and the state, and they have a comma after the state too, because it's not at the end of the sentence.
Oh, using eyebrows.
All right, next, Dr. and Mrs. C.R. Jones went to Arizona for a vacation. Because they have the periods after the abbreviated titles of respect and after the initials. You need to put your foot down and get closer to your desk. Don't argue with me. If you argue with me about this again, I'm going to give you a towel. Move closer to your desk. I don't know why you want to lean so far away to write. Read the next one. David, did you see me last night at the ball game? B. Because you have direct address. You need a comma after David. All right, the last one says, Molly, Kathy, and Ann are coming to visit you. A. Very good. A. That one is words in a series. All right, now rewrite the following words and sentences. Some of them are just words. Do you need to make them into sentences? No. The first one says, read it with me, Sacramento, California. Now they've capitalized it, but what do you need to do to fix it? Yes, you need to put a comma because that's a city and a state. So copy Sacramento, California and put a comma. We're going to go ahead and talk about all of them. So let's go and talk about all of them so we can keep going. Let's look at the next one. Even if you didn't finish the first one, stop. I need to talk to you about that anyway. D.L. Moody was a great preacher. Okay, what are you going to do there?
Put a period after D and put a period after L.
Yes, you will need to, when you copy it, you will need to put a period after D and L because they are initials. And what else do you need to do?
Put a period after P.
Yes, put a period at the end because it's a sentence. That one is a sentence. Let's read the next one. Mr. Samuel W. Liddick.
Put a period after Mr.
Very good. Mr. needs a
Put
period.
a period after W.
Yes, put a period after W because it is an initial. Guys, you can use proofreader marks. You are going to have to rewrite these, but you can use proofreader marks on what's already there for now. It is cold in Fairbanks, Alaska.
I'm putting comma between Fairbanks and Alaska.
Very good. Fairbanks is a city and Alaska is a state, so insert a comma there. And then what do you need to do?
Insert a period after
Yes, insert a period because that one again is a sentence. That one is a sentence. All right, the next one says, Stephen, come here.
I'll put a period after here.
Yeah, you need to put a period after here because it is an imperative sentence. Come on, guys. Yes, and you need a comma after Stephen because it is direct address. So period because it's imperative. Are you inserting these for right now? Stop trying to finish it first. Let's talk about them first so I can get the video over. All right, read pages 3, 5, and 8.
Put a
Put a
period.
comma after 3.
Yeah,
Put a comma after 5.
very good. That's
And then
words in a
stop.
series, items in a series. So 3, 5, then you stop, but one more thing needs to be done.
Put a period after.
Yes, put a period because it's another imperative sentence. Very good. No, I am not 6 years old.
Insert a comma after no.
Yeah, comma after no and
Put a
A period after.
very good. Period at the end because it's declarative sentence. All right, now you may go ahead and rewrite those on the lines, correcting the mistake.